Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a summer cozy book recommendations video. So today we're going to be talking everything that is a cozy read that is also somewhat summer themed. Some of these are extremely summer themed. Some of these are food cozy mysteries that have like ice cream or like kind of summer foods in them, and then some of them take place during summer. So either way you look at it, each book that I'm going to be talking about today does have some kind of summery feel to it. And these are all books that I personally really love. They're 4 or 5 star reads for me that I've just really enjoyed. So we're going to go and hop into our first recommendation. So our first book for today is going to be A Crime of Passion Fruit by Ellie Alexander. This is part of one of my favorite cozy mystery series, the Bakeshop mystery series. It is book 6 within the series and it is excellent. So not only do I recommend the entire series, if you are not familiar, Ellie Alexander is a fabulous author. She has a couple series. I've only read the Bakeshop mystery series so far, but I'm definitely getting ready to read some of her other series. I will link her YouTube channel down below as well because she does have a great YouTube channel that I like to follow. But this one in particular follows our main character, Jules. She has returned home to Ashland, Oregon to work in her family's bake shop, which is called Tort, and the whole cast of characters in this is very delightful. Each of the employees has their own storyline. They're very well fleshed out, amazing characters. I love Jules' relationship with her mother, and her father has passed away at this point, but fantastic series. The reason I recommend A Crime of Passion Fruit, other than the very summery feel that this cover has, is that it actually takes place on a cruise ship. So actually Jules goes on this cruise ship with her mother and her mother's beau, and they all kind of have a summery vacation on there. Jules, before she went back to Tort in Ashland, Oregon to work there, she actually was a chef, a pastry chef, on a cruise ship line for several years. So she's actually asked back to work on the cruise ship for a week to cover for somebody, and so she gets a free trip out of it, as well as some guests, which is how she invites her mother and her mother's beau. And it's a fantastic mystery, really engaging. The characters are colorful, and you just can't help but feel the really summery vibes from the cruise ship setting. The desserts that are talked about, everything is just mouth-watering and summery. So I absolutely recommend this one for a fun, cozy food mystery read. The series itself, the characters are amazing. I do recommend starting from the beginning if you can. You can jump in at any point, but I feel like the characters really do develop from novel to novel, so it does help with this particular series to jump in at the beginning if you can. Otherwise, you can jump into it whenever you want, but that's just my personal take on it. So the next book I want to recommend is a personal favorite of mine. This is a classic. This one I read when I was much younger, and it's something I'm looking to reread hopefully this summer, and that is Anne of Green Gables. This is the Seasons edition. I will link this particular edition as well as the other books down below in my description box as always for you guys. But this is the Seasons edition, so it has a really beautiful cut out cover, gorgeous quotes and everything. And although I know this is a Seasons edition, and they actually make it like a fall Seasons edition, so it has kind of the darker colors on it, but I do feel like it has a very spring and summer feel to it because Anne is a spirited, spunky girl who has recently been adopted into a family, and she is constantly outdoors, constantly among flowers. She has the most beautiful way of describing nature, and I have to say, I'm not the biggest nature person. I know some people live to hike and go outside and garden. I'm not one of those people. I'm much more like a homebody kind of person. But Anne is one of those people who's just constantly outside, feeling the grass between her toes, picking flowers, braiding flowers into her hair. She's very whimsical, she's imaginative, and it's just a really great coming of age story about a spunky girl who's finding her way in the world. And the series does continue on into her college years and young adult if you continue reading, but the first one is following her while she's maybe 11 or 12, I would say. It's just so beautiful the way everything's described, and this edition in particular is just stunning. It has all of these beautiful inside pages with different quotes and things pulled out. It's got the colored edges, so if you are looking for a beautiful edition for yourself or a gift for someone else, I really recommend the Seasons classics books because they're just stunning, but I definitely recommend Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. It's just one of the best classics I've personally read. It's heartwarming, it's cozy, it has a lot of gorgeous nature scenes and like florals and things that are just the way she describes nature. It just really touches you and I love it. So this one is just, I always have to recommend this for like a spring or summery read because it just has that vibe to it for me personally. So the next one I want to recommend is the Hot Fudge Murder book by Cynthia Baxter. This is part of a Lickety Splits ice cream shop mystery series. So in this book, our main character has recently opened her ice cream shop, which is called a Lickety Splits ice cream shop, and I love the title of that. The ice cream flavors are very innovative and fun, and the names are just amazing. The ice cream descriptions are mouth-watering, and of course I think ice cream is just such a quintessential summer food or dessert to eat because it's hot out. The main character in this is named Kate, and she has recently been commissioned to be the caterer for this really big event happening just out of town. Essentially, this famous fashion designer is coming back to his like country home nearby. His name's Omar, and he's hosting a lot of his friends and family and business partners, and he personally loves hot fudge sundaes. Those are his favorite desserts. So she is commissioned to be the caterer for this dessert and to make hot fudge sundaes, which she's very excited for because her business has just started and this will be a big gig for her and get her a lot of exposure. However, while at the event, the fashion designer Omar actually ends up dying under mysterious circumstances. So of course that's, in itself very sad. Everyone's detained, the party's broken up, and she decides to investigate the murder because not only is she, sad because she met the man and he seemed very nice, but also the town is being overrun by paparazzi, which is really negatively affecting her business as well as other people's businesses in the local area because the paparazzi are destroying the tourist trade in the area because no one wants to be hanging around and relaxing while all these paparazzi are running amok, basically. So Kate goes on this quest to solve the mystery, and I personally loved this mystery. It was a very well thought out mystery in my opinion. The ice cream descriptions were mouthwatering. I enjoyed some of the behind the scenes of the ice cream parlor. Kate has a really awesome relationship with her grandmother, and that what just really touched me. I love family mysteries that have a family aspect like that. So this was just a really fun new cozy mystery series that I started recently, and I love the ice cream theme. It's very summery, so I wanted to include it in this video. So this next one is part of one of my favorite mystery series, and this is the Cupcake Bakery mystery series by Jenn McKinlay, and this book is Red Velvet Revenge. It's book 4 in the series, and it features best friends Mel and Angie who run Fairy Tale Cupcakes together, which love the name for that. How fun is that? A lot of their cupcakes have fun themes to them, like Tinkerbell is a lemon cupcake, and I just love it. So the book takes place during the summertime, and they are invited to cater cupcakes at this local rodeo, and everything's going well until one of the rodeo stars, who is notorious for having a very short temper, kind of gets in their way. He gets in their face, he rubs other people the wrong way, and he is found dead, passed out in the ground, face down. So they're determined to save the day and figure out what happened to this man and also save their business and clear their name because they are one of the vendors there, so everyone at the rodeo is of course a potential suspect for having murdered this man. So I love this series. Jenn McKinlay is one of my favorite cozy mystery writers. She has delicious scenes in all of her Cupcake Bakery's mystery series, and I love the recipes that she includes as well. I've actually made 1 or 2 of them and they've turned out well. I might make one for an upcoming video. We'll see, but this one I definitely recommend specifically from the series if you're looking for a summer themed read. So this next one was a very recent read of mine. It's called Homicide in Halo Halo by Mia P. Manansala, and this is part of the Tita Rosie's mystery series. It is book 2 in the series. The first book in the series is Arsenic and Adobo, which received a lot of praise when it was first published, I believe last year. I personally read it recently in my TikTok Made Me Read It video, which I'll link above, and it was fantastic, 5 stars, and I wanted to read the second book immediately, which is Homicide in Halo Halo. So essentially Halo Halo is a Filipino ice cream, like ice dessert. So that's why to me it has a very summery vibe to it, because as you can see on the cover, it's like a delicious cold treat that people enjoy during the summertime. And our main character in this is named Leela, and she works at her family's Filipino restaurant in the first book. In the second book, she's kind of transitioning to actually open a cafe with her friends, which is really exciting, and she's going to be in charge of doing different kind of fusion pastries that involve different like fun twists on like typical pastries you'd find at like a coffee shop. And she's kind of having a hard time though after the first book. You know, there was a lot of drama. This was the first like murder investigation she was ever a part of, and I kind of like that this series shows some of the aftermath of what it might be like to actually be involved in a murder investigation as an amateur sleuth. So she's kind of struggling with that, but she's excited about the cafe that's opening, and she's actually asked to be the judge at a beauty pageant that's local that she actually won when she was a teenager. So they invite her to host, and she agrees to be a judge at this competition only because it's going to give her and her friend's cafe that's just about to open a lot of exposure. So she does it for that, even though she has some negative associations and like family memories. This series is very family driven. There's a lot of she has a huge family, and there's a lot of family drama, and it's very entertaining. It seems very realistic to me because when you get a group of any number of people together, there's going to be some amount of drama, of course, but it's very well written. Everything seems very believable, but the characters always come together and help each other out, which I think is amazing. And at the beauty pageant, one of the sponsors for the beauty pageant is murdered, so this puts a huge funk and everything, and people are freaking out. People are withdrawing their daughters from the beauty pageant. Other people are like, well, the show has to go on. So Leela's trying to kind of uncover what happened and make sure that the girls and everyone else is going to be safe. And it's a very, very compelling mystery in my opinion. I love the characters, the family drama, just the way this is written. The series is very refreshing. It has a little more intense of a feel to it than your typical cozy, but it still does fall within the cozy genre. It does touch on some darker subjects than some cozies do, but it's still lighthearted enough where you don't feel like weighed down or upset by it. I will say the reveal for this, I didn't personally call who did it, and the reasoning, the motive, everything, I was like in tears. It was such an intense, like well played out mystery. Like I actually was in tears, and I'm not someone who cries very much at books, so it was spectacular. I highly recommend this series as a whole, but this particular book was like a very summery read because of the halo emphasis and the like ice cold desserts and the recipes, of course, that are included. Okay, so our next one is one that I checked out from the library. I'm just covering my town's name here, and this is called An Appetite for Murder. It's by Lucy Burdette. It's the first in a new series, and this is I always forget what it's called, a Key West food critic mystery. It does include recipes if you are somebody who likes your food cozies with mysteries. So this is a close-up of the cover. I will pop a picture on screen so you can see the top a little bit better. How cute is the cat though? I love the little cat. Very cute. So this one here was a really fun read for me. Basically, it follows a woman named Haley Snow, and she has recently relocated to Key West when she followed her soulmate, who she's only known for 6 weeks. So she kind of jumped headfirst into this relationship and got burned essentially. So she is living with a friend on a houseboat because her and her soulmate ended up breaking up very shortly after she went out there, basically. And she had found him cheating with somebody else, and that's what led to their breakup. Unfortunately, that woman that he was cheating with ends up dead. So Haley is a major suspect in the crime immediately because she had, the motive, and she also doesn't have an alibi. So she is very determined to figure out what happened to this woman who was actually poisoned via key lime pie. Another motive that Haley has is that the other woman, Kirsten, actually might be her new boss. So she has the motive of both being angry at Kirsten for, being with her boyfriend when they were together, but also that this lady might be her new boss and maybe trying to get her out of the way or something like those lines. So the police are really on Haley throughout this entire book. There are a lot of scenes where she's taken into the police station for like interrogation or like just different questioning. She's getting harassed quite a bit. and they really see her as a primary suspect for this case. So it's very gripping because of course she's trying to clear her name. You feel a lot of sympathy for her because she's going through all of these like huge changes in her life, which some of them are definitely self-inflicted. You know, she kind of threw herself into the situation, maybe not thinking everything through, but you feel a lot of sympathy for her. She's a very sympathetic character, relatable, definitely not a flawless character in any, you know, stretch of the imagination, but I did find this well written. Overall, it is the first in the series. I do plan on reading more into the series. I have the second one on hold with my library right now, and I would give this like a solid 3.5 to 4 stars for a cozy mystery series. It had a lot of typical tropes for the first book, like, you know, so a character moving to a new place, you know, a recent breakup, things like that. But I thought that everything was well written. I enjoyed reading it. It was just a fun, lighthearted, and very like summery read because of the key lime pie. That just to me is a very like summer treat, you know, and it just, because of the location, Key West, everything feels very tropical. You know, her friend that she lives with grows tropical plants, like everything just had a very tropical summery feel to it, which is why I wanted to recommend it today. So that's our next recommendation. So our next cozy is another fun food-themed one that's very summery to me. It's called Pint of No Return, a Shake Shop mystery series. It is book 1 within the series. It's by Dana Mentink, and our main character is Trinidad Jones, who has just uprooted her life and moved to Sprocket, Oregon after inheriting a like shop front there, or storefront, after she divorces her husband after finding out that he is like a swindler. He had multiple wives before her. He's a con man. She finds out all these horrible things. She divorces him, and she ends up getting this storefront in the divorce proceedings. So she uproots her life to Sprocket, Oregon to open her dream, which is a shake shop, which has, again, a very summery feel to me. That shake shop, I mean, it's delicious, you know? At least I'm not drinking a cookies and cream milkshake in the middle of December. It's definitely like a summery springtime food in my opinion. For me, this was a 5-star read, even though it was the first in a cozy mystery, which can sometimes be a little like formulaic, if you will. But I really enjoyed this because Trinidad actually, she really goes through the process of opening her shop. You kind of get to go alongside her as she's working to open the shop, which I enjoyed. But she also gets to meet one of the other ex-wives because they all inherited different parts, like different businesses or shops in Sprocket as well as part of their divorce proceedings. I guess he owned a lot of land or something. So she actually gets to meet one of them, and her name is Juliet. However, shortly after meeting Juliet, and they actually end up like kind of bonding and seeing that, you know, they could be friends potentially, a man is murdered in town, and Juliet is immediately arrested for the murder. Trinidad is very much against the idea that Juliet committed this murder in any way, so she starts collecting clues and investigating what actually happened to the man who was murdered. And some aspects of this cozy mystery series that I really enjoyed was that Trinidad has a dog, but he's actually an ex-service dog, so he has all these like interesting abilities and different things he's trained to do from his service dog days. And Trinidad also makes some really great friends along the way. I really enjoyed learning about some of the other townsfolk and some of the friendships she was developing. This was just such a charming, cozy read. The food choice, you know, for the series makes it very summery in my opinion, and the mystery itself, I was really impressed. I thought it was really well written. I did call who did it, but everything, like the clues and things that were scattered about, was very well done in my opinion, and I thought the reveal was very suspenseful, even knowing who did it going into it. So I highly recommend this. I'm actually trying to get my hands on book 2, which just came out in May. So we're gonna see if I can get my hands on that soon. So my next recommendation is actually just kind of a series as a whole, and that is the Bad Hair Day mystery series by Nancy J. Cohen. This is one of the first cozy mystery series I ever read, and it's still one of my favorites. It features Marla, who lives in Florida. So a lot of her mysteries are very like there's a lot of heat waves. There's a very like summery feel to them because of the location of them being in Florida, and I just really love Marla as a character. She's very like spicy. She's feisty. She's spunky. She really sticks up for herself. She is. At the beginning of the series, she is single, and in her 30s, she owns her own hair salon, and I love the idea of a amateur sleuth who is a hair stylist because it's just such a great place to kind of bond with potential suspects or to get information out of people, because I feel like people are very like, they talk about a lot of things with their hairdressers that maybe they wouldn't with a normal stranger, but they don't think twice about doing that with a hairdresser. So I find it just to be a really interesting series. I thought the mysteries overall in this series were very solid. I loved the character growth throughout the series. So I couldn't recommend this series highly enough. The mysteries were entertaining. The location was beautiful and summery. There is one that's called, I think, Peril by Ponytail, where Marla and the man she ends up getting married to, which is much later into the series, they actually go on their honeymoon to like a dude ranch. So that one in particular is very summer themed because it takes place during the summer and it's on a ranch. I personally really liked that one. It had a lot of like mining history incorporated into it, which I found really interesting. So if you're looking for one in particular from the series that you want to read as a standalone, you could definitely do that. And it's a very summery, you know, summer honeymoon themed one. But otherwise, the entire series is super enjoyable. Definitely has kind of a summer vibe to it that I would personally recommend and enjoy reading this time of year more than anything else. Alright guys, that's everything for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know down below, what are your favorite summer cozy reads? Do you have any books that you reread every summer? Do you have any series recommendations or things that are just very summer filled and like fun for this time of year to read? If you do, please leave them down below. And as always, if you've read any of the ones I talked about, I would love to hear your thoughts on them, even if they are different from my own. You know, it's just interesting to hear what different people think about different books and series. And thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I do upload new book content, especially in the mystery genre, every single week, so I don't want you to miss out. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!